Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club, the Let's Talk to Cutler vlog, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity. It is the 18th of October. We're in the middle of the month. October is over halfway gone, and it'll be November Thanksgiving before you know it. And guess what's happy about it? We all are. We're glad to still be here, just enjoying and just enjoying our time together. May I tell you all that I'm so thankful for the opportunity to spend these 1800 seconds with you all. It doesn't matter where you are, or it doesn't matter where you've allowed me to share the space, whether it's your living room or maybe sitting at the bar in your house, your kitchen islands, wherever you are. Thank you so very much for allowing me to share this space with you. I count it an honor and a privilege. And just in case there's someone who's just floating by and may have never heard of Cutler and they wonder what's going on in that channel, this channel is about inspiration and motivation. Occasionally it's about laughter and heart-piercing things that sometimes bring tears to my eyes, but we're not going to do any of that this evening. But this channel is about motivation and inspiration. It's about challenging ourselves to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today, and trying to show up better today than we did yesterday. It does not by any stretch of the imagination mean that today or any day has been a flop or a failure. It means that just as human beings, we're taking the time with chatting for these 1800 seconds to say, what nuggets can I glean from today? What nuggets might I get out of this conversation that's going to help me be a better person? And when we think about a better person, you all, sometimes better is just because it's opened our minds to other possibilities, and not other possibilities about anybody else, but other possibilities for me. I don't know about you all, but I'm glad that there are possibilities for me not to be the same person that I've always been. I'm glad that there are possibilities for me to grow. I'm glad that there are possibilities for me to extend my mind. I'm glad that there are possibilities for me to consider other ways of thinking. I'm glad that possibilities of me to see that I'm not the only one going through what I go through. I'm glad that there are possibilities for me to see that I do have resources that I may not have tapped into. I'm glad to know that there's a possibility that there are people in my circle who can bring something to me that I didn't necessarily bring to them. So I'm thankful for all of those opportunities. So we're going to get right into it. But I just wanted to put that out there. Better shows up in so many ways. It manifests itself in so many ways. Better manifests itself in how we think, how we show up, how we be. Better sometimes manifests itself in the things that we obtain. Better sometimes manifests itself in the successes that we reach. Better manifests itself something that come to lives. Better manifest itself sometimes people who come into our, sometimes the people who go out of our lives. Better manifest itself, can manifest itself in so many ways. I am better because of you all. So thank you for that. I want to just see who some of our LTTC VIPs are for the evening. Those are the people who just really jump into the chat sometimes before I get there. And so let me just see who's there. Looks like, let's see, Annie Cutler jumped in and she said, let's ride, get aboard. We're going to do just that. T Cutler jumped in and said, happy Tuesday, LTTC family. I'm happy to be here tonight. LTTC, T Cutler, I'm happy to be here as well. So very happy. Please make sure that you give a shout out and tell a hello to Sloan and the SJ as well. And then let's see, looks like Paula D comes in third, who says hello to everyone. Hello to you, my friend. And of course, a special hello to the mother as well. All right. Thank you all so much. I want to go ahead and get started with our conversation because as you, Fabulous Me, I got to acknowledge you because you say, hey, me and my other half here. It's always so good to see you. Make sure you tell my friend, the other half, that I said hello. All right. You all, if you remember the last time we talked, it was a great conversation because we talked about how good are you at expressing yourself. One of the things that we realized was that a lot of times in terms of if we want to show up better, if we want to be better, it's about how do I express myself better? How do I make sure that I am clear in what I say? How do I make sure that I'm clear in my communications? How do I make sure that the impact that I have on other people is the impact that I want to make? Am I aware of the effect that my words and my actions might have on other people? So then it is all about our ability to express ourselves. Now, listen, if you know someone who needs to work on expressing themselves, or maybe if you want to work on expressing yourself, it's a good time for you to be here. But if you know somebody else, tell them to come on and let's talk to Cutler. Come on, and if they just want to join, they can subscribe and then click on the notification bell and all that kind of stuff. But this conversation is a continuation of our conversation, because I had a few of the pointers on all of us. In case people didn't catch the last dialogue, I just wanted to recap a few things. We talked about, in order to better express yourself, one of the things that was incumbent upon us to do is to make sure that we analyze our emotions. And in analyzing our emotions, it's just making sure that we're open and honest about what we feel. It's making sure that we're open and honest about what we are experiencing. And it's about knowing what you are experiencing. One of the big things that I harped on the last time we talked was understanding and expressing your emotions, because the more you know about how you feel, then the more you're willing to be honest about that, and the better you will become at expressing yourself. And some people, we talked about it, some people, they're just embarrassed about their emotions. And so I'm more inclined to say I am mad than I am sad. And that's one of the things that we talked about. That is a big trigger for a lot of people, how our emotions can cause us to feel vulnerable. I feel like I'm brave when I say I'm mad, but I might feel like I'm weak and vulnerable when I say I'm sad. But can I tell you this, that you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar? So when you learn how not to be so bitter and caustic and irascible in your responses to people, people will give you the response that you're sometimes looking for. Think about how many times you said to people, I'm mad at you. And then consider for just a moment their response. Did they respond in anger? Did they respond with the same energy that you gave them? I'm mad at you. I'm upset with you. I'm PO'd with you. I'm all of that kind of stuff. But think about what kind of response you might have gotten instead of saying, I'm mad with you, and instead saying, that makes me very sad. That disappoints me. That hurts my feelings. Think about it. Of course, yeah, it may make you sound vulnerable, but you're not. You're being honest, and you are eliciting a particular response from people. So one of the things that's important, I just want to go back to that. One of the things that is important is to make sure that you analyze your emotions and be honest about how you feel. Don't be embarrassed about your emotions. Don't be ashamed of your emotions. Be honest about them. All right. Next thing we talked about, and I'm just recapping this, that's why I'm talking so quickly, but I'm also passionate about this. One of the other things we talked about was writing down, because I said, when you write down your emotions, when you see what you're thinking, you can say what you're thinking. When you really analyze from number one, and then number two, you write down, you can see, oh, this is what I need to say. This is what I want to say. It will help you from stumbling over your words. So that's a big help. Then the other thing that we talked about was making sure that you consider another perspective. We could harp on that and stay there all day long, but I only have 1,800 seconds. But consider another perspective. None of us, as wonderful and as fabulous and as grand as we all are, none of us always get it right the first time. And the truth of the matter is that, yes, self-preservation is the first law of nature. So we're quite often self-focused, making sure that we take care of ourselves. But the best way to really express yourself to another individual is to try to be empathetic. Let me see how they feel. Let me see how they might consider this. Let me see what they might think about this. It doesn't mean that you're caving into your response, but it means that you're opening your mind to consider the possibility of how somebody else thinks about a thing. So make sure, learn to see the other side. People are more willing to hear what you have to say, and you will be more compelling if you at least try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. At least just try. Okay. And as we kept moving in last week's conversation, the last time we talked about, it was making sure I said this, get some feedback. No man or woman, boy or girl is an island unto him or herself. Make sure that you get some feedback. Get with somebody who is good at what they do, people who you trust and believe, who are not necessarily masters, but who are just great at expressing themselves. We all have people that we like and that we admire for certain gifts and talents and certain ways that they have of communicating and certain things that they possess and how they can pull something out of the arsenal at the drop of a hat and engage in dialogue and discourse about all of that. We admire some of those kinds of people. So I would suggest that you find someone who's good at it, someone who you trust, and then ask them for feedback. I think the last time we chatted, we said that we don't always see ourselves the same way our friends and family members see us. So ask other people, how do you think I communicate? How do you think I express myself? And so we talked about it at the beginning of our last dialogue on a scale of 1 to 10. How do we think we're doing at expressing ourselves? Because can I tell you all this? It would be a shame for us to go our whole lives engaging people at a certain level and not really being understood the way that we want to be understood. And it is not always a function of them, but many times it has to do with our own introspection of how am I doing myself? Is there something that I can do for some kind of self improvement, self betterment, self enhancement? Yes. And so that is why we have these 1800 seconds that we spend together. When it comes to expressing ourselves, we can move up the scale from a 5 to a 7, from a 6 to an 8, from a 7 to a 9, and yes, possibly even to a 10. So find someone that you trust and believe, someone with whom you're comfortable, and ask them, how am I doing? And then, for goodness sakes, for your sake and for theirs, be prepared to hear an honest response. There is no need in going to someone asking them to give you feedback if you're not going to be prepared for an honest response. I know people who never ask for feedback because they are afraid of what they may hear. But that's not going to be us. That is not going to be us. I offer us, my offering that I bring to the table, to this platform for us this evening is the ability to hear the truth about ourselves, especially from those whom we trust. All right. So yes, make sure that you look for and that you get some feedback. And then the next thing, I think we may have leveled out our conversation around this one in terms of learning to raise your self-esteem. It is of utmost importance that you learn how to do that. Most people, and so here's why I want to pick up with where we left off the last time. There are some people who have a hard time speaking and expressing themselves. It has been my experience that people who have a hard time speaking and expressing themselves many times struggle with some level of self-esteem. They sometimes struggle with some level of self-confidence. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't like themselves or that they abhor themselves or that kind of thing. But a lot of times people who struggle with speaking and expressing themselves will have some issues with their self-esteem or their self-confidence. But may I suggest to us this evening, those of you who are in the chat, those of you who will catch the replay, learn to appreciate yourself in all of who you are, in all of the totality of your experience. Learn to appreciate yourself. And the more you appreciate yourself, the more you will learn to live in your own skin and be comfortable with who you are. And if you say, well, Cutler, that is the challenge. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to hear you talk about tonight, my friend. I want you to talk about the piece that says, learn how to appreciate yourself and learn how to live in your own skin. Well, I've talked about that before, but I am not beyond coming back to that topic. So let me just deal with that for just a moment. Learning to appreciate yourself. Why don't you do this, you all? I may have suggested this before, but there is power in pen and paper. There is power in pen and paper. Tracy, I see what you're saying. Sometimes people also just don't say anything because they're afraid they won't be liked. Absolutely, because sometimes when you offer your opinion, you are afraid that your opinion or your expression may not be popular with certain people. And so you're thinking, is this going to be, am I in the majority opinion? Am I in the minority opinion? Am I in the opinion in this public pool? How is it going to be perceived? I've discovered that a lot of times what you say may be received a little bit better because based on how you say it. So then, and not everybody is going to like what you have to say. I get that. But in terms of at least how you express it, build your confidence up in yourself and stand on what you have to say. If you are asked your opinion and you feel comfortable with sharing it, stand on what you have to say. I made a post a few days ago on one of my social media platforms, and I talked about confidence. Confidence is not necessarily facing your difficulty without fear. That's not necessarily what confidence is, but confidence is the ability to look your difficulty straight in the eye and face your difficulties while managing your fear. Confidence is not about the eradication of fear, but confidence is about the management of fear. And a lot of times we operate and we function in life and we move from one thing to the other, thinking that because I have fear, I need to cower and I need not do this. Because I have some degree, some modicum of fear, it means that I'm not confident. But confident does not mean the total absence of fear. It does not. Confidence is all about how you manage your fear. So then, sometimes, why do I say that? I say that because sometimes, yes, you may be afraid that you're not going to be liked. But here is the thing, even though you might be afraid that you may not be liked, be confident in what you have to say. Stand in total confidence when you are convicted about what you have to say. Stand in the confidence of that thing, and it may not affect you so much if you get bounced back because people don't like you or because they don't like what you have to say. At least you stood in the confidence and the conviction of your own truth. All right. So, Tracy, thank you so much for sharing that, because that is so true, my friend. A lot of times people don't offer their opinions or express themselves because they are afraid that they may not be liked. But understand this, when you can stand in the confidence of what you have to say, think about people in your circle whom you may have disagreed with from time to time. You didn't like what they had to say, or you disagreed with what they had to say. But two things probably happened. One, you respected them and you appreciated the fact that they stood in their truth. People would do the same thing for you. When you're confident and you appreciate yourself, you raise your level of self-esteem. So why don't you just start writing down what you like about yourself? It will boost your self-confidence exponentially. Honestly, you all, and I'm just not saying this one for my health. I wish I could just come and spend time with you in your individual venues and spaces tonight. I really wish I could, because I would want to say to you, write down. I wish I could be there and say, write down 3 or 5 things that you like about yourself. And don't be modest about it. And you don't have to cower in fear. You don't have to put on this kind of manufactured humility. You don't have to do that. I want you to write down what you like about yourself. And don't think about what other people are going to say based on what you write down. Well, what are they going to say? If I say I like this about myself, what is somebody else going to say? For this moment, you don't care what anybody else is going to say. This is about you, you, and you. Write down what you like about yourself. Because when you like who you are, guess what, you all? You will learn to speak up for yourself and you will learn to express yourself. I've learned that in the course of my life. There were times when I had an opinion and I would not share my opinion because I was concerned about what people may say about me or about the opinion that I had. But guess what, you all? Over some therapeutic time, I've learned to appreciate myself. I've learned to live in my own skin, and I've learned to like who I am. And when you like who you are, you will like who you are enough to stand up for who you are. Really, how often do I say, I'm just trying to help save somebody else's life? When you learn to like who you are, you don't let people walk on you. You don't let people step on you. You don't let people abuse you. You don't let people mishandle you. You don't let people misuse you, because you like you enough to stand up for yourself. I hope we can grab onto that. I hope we can share that with people, because no doubt there may be people in our circles, you all, in our spaces. Give a thumbs up on the conversation if you haven't done so already. It just encourages me and lets me know that you like what we're talking about, and you also say that over to the YouTube folk as well. But I'm telling you all, maybe we know people in our lives who could just use a little more confidence. And we don't know what that looks like. There's my phrase. We don't know what it means. And so we need to say to them, this is what it looks like. It looks like you standing up for yourself. It doesn't look like you being cocky, arrogant, egotistical, or any of that. But here is what you do. You stand in the confidence of who you are. That's exactly what you do. You stand in your envy. You're right, people. You stand in your truth. If someone shares their opinion, of me, I will see if there's any truth. Sure, you want to share your opinion of me, about me. I'll see if there's some truth to it. But guess what? One of the things you're not going to do is knock my confidence. And I wish we could I wish we could teach the young people in our lives how to be confident in who they are. That is why so many of our young people are given to peer pressure, because they're not quite sure how to stand up in the confidence of who they are. Let's teach our young people that. Let's teach our middle-aged people that. Let's teach our older people that. Stand in the confidence of who you are. It doesn't mean that you'll like everything, but neither does it mean that you have to be nasty with people. I don't have to be nasty to be confident. And let me just share that. When you are confident, don't let people try to knock your confidence by saying, well, she's a very nasty person. He's very nasty. No, he is a very confident person. She is a very confident person. And you're challenged and intimidated by their confidence. Let's call a thing a thing. You all know I'm telling you part of my story. I had to learn to deal with that thing. Had to learn to like myself enough to speak up for myself. And during those days and times, people would say, well, that's very nasty. That's very egotistical. No, at this point, you are intimidated by the confidence that another person exudes. Let's stop knocking people's confidence, because when we start knocking people's confidence, we shake and we rattle. I'm getting ready to go somewhere. When we start knocking people's confidence, we shake and rattle the foundation of who we are, who they are. And a lot of times when they cannot stand on the foundation of who they are, it does something to their psyche. It does something to them psychologically. It does something to them mentally. It does something to them emotionally. And a lot of times it can go far left or all the way to the extreme. And when some people are not confident standing on the foundation of who they are, they take themselves out of here. And then we go to their funerals and we cry and we wonder what happened to them. What happened to them was that there was somebody who kept knocking their foundation and they couldn't stand on it. I went all the way there. I went all the way there because it's happening. It's happening. People are bullying folk and thinking it's okay. And some people are watching other folk bully people and thinking that it's okay when it is not. But this segment is not about bullying. This segment is about learning how to better express yourselves. All right. I got to keep going. And then in addition to raising your self-esteem, one of the things that I just want to toss out there, you all, a lot of times we just need to just stop overthinking it. Just stop overthinking and be at ease with wherever you go. And if you can't be at ease with wherever you go, don't go. Don't go. Learn to be at ease with however you show up, however you be. Learn to be at ease. And if you can't be at ease with wherever you go or however you show up, don't go and don't show up. Because if you're not at ease, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start thinking irrationally. You'll think that all eyes on me. People are critiquing me. People are criticizing me. People are scrutinizing me. All eyes on me. And that's what you would think. And you will feel that everyone is talking about you, or at least that someone is talking about you and that they're critiquing you. And then you will think that everyone sees your flaws. They see me. They see my flaws. They see my failures. They see my vulnerabilities. Can I say these 3 words? Stop overthinking it. Stop overthinking it. Because most of the time, no one is paying that much attention to you. So breathe. Settle in who you are. Calm down, relax, and don't overthink it. Let me check the chat. That is why I didn't allow myself to be bullied as a child. Absolutely right. Because if you say nothing, it will continue. It will continue. Bullies have low self-esteem and just find others with lower self-esteem to bully. Tracy, thank you. Bullies have low self-esteem and they just find others with low self-esteem to bully. I'm telling you. So let's pay attention to that. I haven't had a chance to catch up on my email, and I need to get that done. I need to get that done. I had a relative who has had back surgery today, so I've been spending my time working on some personal things, and then helping some family members as well. But I've got to get caught up in my email. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a couple of hours, even after this broadcast tonight. I promise you, I'm going to jump over and take a look at my email. All right, but you all. So let's talk about better expressing ourselves. And one of the things, just sort of stop overlooking it. So I want to offer something else, and this one may be a bit of a challenge. It's about working. All of this is about working on your delivery. Gotta learn to work on your delivery in terms of what it is you want to say. Learn how to work on your delivery. Let me think about my delivery. Let me think of my words. Let me think of the impact that my words may have on someone else. Let me think, is this going to raise someone else's level of anxiety, or is it going to put them at ease? So you have to think about your delivery. You've got to work on your delivery, because the majority of your communication, believe this or not, the majority of your communication is not necessarily with your words, but the majority of your communication is with your nonverbal communication, your nonverbal cues. Because I could be saying something to you, and my words could say to you that I'm very intrigued, I'm very interested, I'm very engaged. But if I'm doing this the whole time, telling you that I'm intrigued and I'm interested and I'm engaged, and my nonverbal communication is saying to you, I could not care less with what you're saying, and I'll be glad when your conversation is over. So we have to be careful and work on our delivery. Your body language makes a huge difference. When you're talking to someone, your body language makes a big difference, and therefore it is important to pay attention to how you use your body language as well. Many times you always see that I'm very engaging. Yet I grew up as a choir director, so I use my hands a whole lot. But one of the things I've learned is that in certain settings, your body language speaks. It takes a stance that says, I'm serious about this. So this shoulder leaning forward, or this shoulder leaning forward, says, I have a strong conviction about what I'm saying. These hands, it means that I'm really trying to pull you into the conversation, because I want you to be a part of what I have to say. And so this movement means that I'm really intense, and because it pulsates, it creates a movement inside of me that I try to convey to you, that I'm moved by what I have to say. Work on your delivery. Even if it's not so intense like this, if you want to offer a person relaxation to calm them down, if you want to appear to be friendly, then learn to toss that eye contact out there from time to time. Offer a smile. Just learn to work on your delivery. We can't do that enough. Can't stress that enough, because it is important. If you're really trying to express yourself, learn how to work on your delivery. Cutler, would you suggest any things in terms of working on your delivery? You all, I'm going to have to come back to this and complete it and go through it again. Or at least I'll pick up from here, and then I'll go through some more tips. But working on your delivery, stand in front of a mirror. You want to make it work? Stand in front of a mirror. Standing in front of a mirror and pretending that you're talking to someone, it shows you. It shows you what they are seeing. Learn how to relax, stand in the authenticity of who you are, and speak your part, speak your mind. All right. Can I say how much I enjoy these conversations, how much I enjoy these dialogues? I'm so thankful for you all and for the time that you allow me to spend with you. It's a little warm where I am, but thank you for the time that you allow me to spend and share with you all. I want to ask you all to do me a favor. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Invite someone else to come on and be a part of the Let's Talk to Cutler family, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. Keep your heads up. Keep your hopes up. Stay safe. Stay sane. And know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I hope to see y'all the next time I'm here, which will be Thursday for 1800 seconds. But until then, let me just say to all of you all, good night. I'll see you later.